Something unsettling is happening at your local grocery store, and it starts with a simple bag of broccoli. Recently, a recall was issued for broccoli sold at Walmart, feared to be contaminated with listeria, a bacteria that can cause serious illness. You try to do the right thing. Add some vegetables to dinner, a little fruit in the morning, just like your doctor recommends. But what if I told you the healthy choices you're making could be doing more harm than good? The truth is, today's grocery store produce isn't the same as what our parents or grandparents brought home. Much of it is washed in chemical chlorine, coated with artificial shine, and shipped weeks before it ever reaches your plate. What's worse? This isn't rare, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why this quiet shift in our food supply is more dangerous now than ever before. Let's begin at the heart of it all. Walmart, America's biggest grocery chain, a place where you can buy socks, a TV, and a zucchini all within arm's reach. But what's behind those gleaming automatic doors isn't as fresh or harmless as it looks. Former Walmart employees have come forward, revealing some disturbing practices that never reach the public eye. One ex-produce worker from Texas admitted that rotting boxes of lettuce would arrive regularly. Instead of throwing them out, they'd peel off the slimy outer layers, spray the heads with water, and toss them back on the shelf, looking fresh. Why? Because Walmart's relentless push for the lowest prices forces suppliers to cut corners. Vegetables are often picked before they're ripe, stored for long periods, and shipped across states in unrefrigerated trucks, all to save a few cents. That spinach you picked up on Sunday. It might have been harvested over a week ago, spent days in transit, and sat in a cold room until there was an empty spot on the shelf. And in many cases, there's no cold room at all. Whistleblower videos from Walmart backrooms show pallets of cucumbers left at room temperature overnight because no one had time to unload the truck. And this isn't just about freshness anymore, it's about your safety. One customer in North Carolina snapped a picture of cabbage crawling with gnats at their local Walmart. When she posted it online, the store's only response was, "We're looking into it." But how many more of these cases go unseen? In another shocking incident, a security camera at a Walmart captured a toddler licking several tomatoes from a lower produce bin, and not a single employee intervened for over 3 minutes. You might think that food would be tossed out, right? But no. That same bin was simply refilled later that day without ever being cleaned. No sanitation, no safety check, just more produce dumped on top, waiting for the next unsuspecting shopper. And it doesn't stop there. Even the labels on your food may be lying to you. Ever picked up a package that proudly says organic or locally grown? According to a 2022 investigation, several Walmart stores were caught mislabeling imported vegetables from Mexico as local produce. It's more than just deceptive marketing, it can be a serious health risk. Why? Because many countries use pesticides banned in the United States or wash their produce in untreated, contaminated water before shipping it in. Now let's walk a few aisles over, to a store that looks a little fancier on the surface, Safeway. With its soft lighting and neat, clean displays, Safeway tries to project a polished, upscale image. But behind the shine, there's a different story, one that's just as troubling. Former Safeway employees describe something they call rotation theatre. It's a common trick. Older, wilted produce is placed on top of the fresh stock so it sells first. Think you're picking up a just-delivered head of romaine? It's probably yesterday's leftovers in disguise. And Safeway doesn't even try to hide it. One viral Reddit post, shared by a former worker, showed a crate of mouldy bell peppers being wiped down with paper towels and then set right out for display. The manager's exact words. If the customer doesn't touch it, they won't know. Let that sink in. And temperature control, that's another recurring nightmare. Health inspections over the past 5 years in states like California, Washington, and Arizona uncovered serious violations. Several Safeway locations were cited for improper cooling of perishable foods, meaning your pre-cut watermelon cup might have sat for hours in what's known as the danger zone, between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the range where bacteria multiplies at an alarming rate, turning your refreshing fruit cup into a silent threat. And the worst part? At one location, the refrigeration unit was broken, and no one reported it for days. At one Safeway location, when their walk-in cooler broke down, the staff didn't call in repairs or move perishables to proper cold storage. Instead, they shoved everything into the floral fridge, the one meant for flowers, and just hoped for the best. Now let's talk about something that sounds harmless but can be far from it. Those misting systems that make lettuce sparkle and radishes look like they've just run a race through a summer rain. Turns out they're rarely cleaned properly. One former employee admitted, "There's stuff growing in the pipes. You don't see it, but you smell it when you open the back valve. That light mist dancing over your veggies. It might actually be fungal residue, a microscopic spray from moldy pipes that haven't been flushed out in weeks. And customers aren't just complaining about wilted greens anymore. A woman in Oregon opened a pre-washed bag of spinach and found a tiny live worm curled up between the leaves. Another shopper in Colorado bit into a cherry tomato that looked perfect on the outside, but when she pressed down, it collapsed like a rotten balloon, revealing a black, decayed interior. She filmed it, and the worst part, it came from a fresh pick of the day display. Even the so-called organic produce isn't safe. Multiple Safeway employees have admitted that when they run out of organic kale, they simply replace it with regular kale, slap it into the bin, and move on, because empty shelves don't look good. That means you're paying more for a label that means absolutely nothing. And if you think those convenient pre-cut veggie trays are a safer bet, think again. The sliced edges of those carrots and celery sticks are the perfect entry points for bacteria, and the plastic wrap over them traps moisture, giving those bacteria the exact environment they need to grow fast. One former deli worker put it bluntly, "If you wouldn't eat a wet carrot that sat on your counter for 12 hours, then don't eat these." What we're seeing at both Walmart and Safeway is a carefully crafted illusion. The produce section is designed to look beautiful, colourful, abundant, fresh. But behind that glossy green shine, there's often a shocking lack of care, cleanliness, and basic food safety that customers naturally assume is happening. You might be thinking now, well, I'll just wash everything when I get home. But what if even that isn't enough? Yes, washing your vegetables at home helps. But it doesn't undo contamination that happened long before your shopping cart ever rolled up. It won't fix spinach that sat in a broken cooler for 2 days, or celery that was already growing mold before it even hit the shelf. And here's the real twist. These stores are betting on you not noticing. They know most people don't inspect every stalk of celery under a light. They count on you not pulling apart the layers of that romaine lettuce. But once you start looking, really looking, you'll notice the soft spots, the wilted ends, and the strange condensation inside sealed bags that should be dry. You'll start asking questions. Why does this asparagus smell like gym socks? Or, how is this salad already slimy when I just bought it yesterday? The truth is, stores like Walmart and Safeway may dominate the grocery industry, but when it comes to vegetables, the customer isn't always right. In fact, they're often the last to know what really happened to the food they're bringing home to their families. If this is already making you glance at your fridge a little differently, you're not alone. Hit that like button and subscribe, because we're just getting started. The deeper we go, the more you'll understand just how much is being hidden behind the neatly stacked produce displays. Now let's take a look at another giant, Kroger. On paper, it's the second largest grocery chain in the United States. But when it comes to produce, size doesn't equal quality. And what's happening behind the scenes might make you think twice about picking up that fresh bag of greens. One former Kroger produce clerk opened up on a popular message board and revealed a harsh reality. They were supposed to rotate the produce daily, move the older stuff forward and the fresher shipments to the back. But in their words, that only happened when we weren't short-staffed, which was almost never. That meant wilted, overripe vegetables stayed out far longer than they should have, simply because there weren't enough hands to do the job right. And it wasn't just a staffing issue, it was a quality issue from the start. Multiple employees confirmed that half-rotted produce often arrived straight from the supplier, especially bananas, strawberries, and tomatoes. Instead of tossing it, the solution was cosmetic. Wipe it down, make it look passable, stack it up, and sell it. Some Kroger locations even relied on something insiders call the miracle spray. It's not some advanced cleaner. It's just a mix of cold water and lemon juice, used to mist over wilted lettuce and spinach. Not to sanitize it, just to revive its appearance, so it looks fresh enough to fool you for one more day. And customers? They think they're buying farm-fresh vegetables. But the truth is far more disturbing. Most people think they're buying something fresh, but in many cases, they're just buying spoiled produce with a slightly better disguise. Now let's talk about a section that seems convenient, but might be the riskiest of all. The pre-cut produce. Bagged lettuce, diced onions, celery sticks, veggie trays. It feels like you're saving time, right? But what you're really buying could be a breeding ground for bacteria. At several Kroger stores, insiders have admitted that these trays and bags are often assembled in the morning, left sitting out for hours, and only refrigerated later, if there's even space left. Sometimes they skip the fridge altogether. One employee confessed, "It's not uncommon to find veggie trays sitting out in the back room for half a shift before anyone remembers to put them away." Let that sink in. Vegetables cut open, exposed to air and moisture, and left in warm rooms for hours. That's the perfect recipe for bacterial growth, especially dangerous strains like Salmonella and Listeria, and all of it ends up in the carts of unsuspecting customers. And if that wasn't enough, Kroger has also been caught mislabeling. In a 2021 audit, multiple locations were busted for slapping locally grown stickers on produce that was actually imported. That zucchini marked as farm fresh? It had a shipping label from Guatemala. Customers filed complaints, but most never even got a response. It's as if the truth didn't matter, as long as it sold. There's more. In Cincinnati, a customer recorded a disturbing video of flies crawling over mushrooms and bell peppers in the produce aisle. The store released a generic statement promising enhanced sanitation protocols. But just 2 weeks later, another video surfaced. Same issue, different store, only miles away. And it's not just insects. At a Kroger in Georgia, a customer spotted rodent droppings behind a produce cooler. The store had to be temporarily shut down. But the most disturbing part? The droppings weren't discovered during cleaning or inspection. They were discovered by a customer. One more Kroger tactic should raise every shopper's eyebrow: the value bins. You've probably seen them. Big tubs offering great deals on mixed vegetables. But have you ever wondered where those veggies come from? According to multiple workers, it's mostly damaged, bruised, or nearly expired leftovers. Produce pulled from the shelves when it could no longer pass for fresh. As one employee bluntly said, "If you see a value bin, just know someone had to dig through the trash to make it." And still, the illusion of freshness continues. Now let's talk about Food Lion, a chain especially popular across the southeastern United States. Their slogan proudly claims they're easy, fresh, and affordable. Easy, sure. Affordable, probably. But fresh, that's where things get a little murky. Food Lion's produce section is often smaller than its competitors, which makes it harder to hide the aging fruits and vegetables. There's simply less space to disguise the decay. One shopper in Virginia snapped a photo of celery stalks so dried out and brown at the base, they looked like they'd been left in the sun for days. And yet, they were still on display, marked with a cheerful manager's special sticker. A former worker confirmed the unspoken rule: if we could sell it before the mold appeared, it went out on the floor. Like other budget chains, Food Lion relies on bulk produce deliveries, often just once or twice a week. That means items like bell peppers, kale, and cucumbers can sit in the back for several days, aging before they even make it to the display bins. And when the coolers fill up, there's no backup plan. One whistleblower in North Carolina said the backroom cooler was so overstuffed, crates of vegetables were left in the hallway, completely unrefrigerated, and Food Lion's track record with food safety hasn't exactly helped their case. In a 2019 state inspection, one South Carolina location was cited for keeping pre-cut fruit at over 55 degrees Fahrenheit, a full 15 degrees above the safety limit. The inspector also found leaking salad mix packages, dripping onto other items in the cooler. And the store's solution? Just wipe them off and put them right back out for sale. Even more alarming, several former employees have come forward online to expose a disturbing practice: repurposing expired produce. Old tomatoes, chopped into fresh pico de gallo, wilted spinach, tossed into a sauté blend. One deli cook said, "If it can be chopped, we use it. Even if it's slimy, we just trim the edges." Let that sink in. Food that should be tossed out is instead being recycled into your next meal, masked by seasoning, sauces, or clever packaging. And customers, they're starting to notice. One woman posted a video of a sealed bag of carrots from Food Lion that looked fine on the outside until she held it up to the light.